there was a heavenly garden in paradise. When the hero regained consciousness, he was sitting on a chair. And that's when he saw. Someone said that Kazami Jinta died by an unfortunate coincidence on his way to work. The girl asked if it was true. He saw her, a beautiful blue-eyed girl with blonde hair, standing in front of him. He wanted to ask something. She said her name was Lyatha. She was the goddess of life and death. He asked again. She replied that this is the place where they determine which path a soul will step on after death. Lyatha said that, for example, by reaching Nirvana, one can be reborn in the same world, or reborn in another world. The hero asked what she meant. She said she was sorry to say that, but he died. He shouted loudly that yes, that it was super and awesome. The girl was startled by this reaction. She asked why he was so happy and if he had hit his head. He replied that it meant he didn't have to go to work anymore and asked if that was true. The guy said he could say goodbye to his fucking job and his bosses, and it was the best thing that could have happened to him. Lyatha said she understood and asked him not to yell now, adding that everyone was staring at them and it was embarrassing. He apologized. She wondered how bad his life had been. She said that anyway, they had decided he was going to paradise. He interjected. He asked if he had attained nirvana. The girl replied in the affirmative. He asked to wait and said that he wanted to be reborn in another world and that she had spoken about it earlier. Lyatha interjected. She asked what he was going to do there. He replied that there was only one thing he could do. Kazami said he would conquer a whole bunch of girls and create a harem. Lyatha said to wait. He said of course not only that. The hero said about status, fame, money, things he would never achieve, things he always wanted, and he would get it all. The girl laughed out loud. She asked what he was carrying and said he couldn't. Kazami said that he had read the short stories and thought that if the other world was like this. She replied that of course not. They don't even know who he will be reborn into after all. She said that an ordinary man like him would at best be reborn as a handkerchief, a small handkerchief. The hero fearfully repeated the word handkerchief. The girl said that she didn't know what he had read out there, but he should shove his dreams far away and go to heaven. She said she had no time to waste on any dreamers. Kazami shouted for her not to laugh at the man's dreams and climbed into the fray. Everyone looked at them. Lyatha asked him to stop and stop. She asked what he thought he was doing. He asked to be sent to another world. The girl replied that it was impossible. He said that if she did not do what he asked, then he would munch on her breasts. She asked to wait and said that she was refusing him for a reason. She said that if she were to send a man to another world of her own volition, then many bad things would happen. Jinta yelled that he didn't give a shit and for her to give him her tits. She was angry and yelled that he was now targeting her boobs. He saw the trope select button and asked if it was her. The character yelled faster to send him to the other world. The girl said she couldn't. He said he would help her then and clobbered her arm. He thought it couldn't be. Lyatha asked what he meant. The hero said fearfully that she had no tits. The girl looked down in surprise. He wondered and where he could find a boobed goddess. He shouted asking where she was hiding and asked to come out. Lyatha was embarrassed. He said he needed to find her. The girl shouted that they were not small and he was an idiot. Jinta asked her to stand still and stay still. Lyatha accidentally pressed the button with her shoe. They froze. A portal began to activate and they flew down. A card with the characteristics of Kazan appeared. The gears spun. The hero rejoiced, and Lyatha said it couldn't be. Reincarnation into another world was taking place. The heroes were flying through the air. And just like that, Kazami was reborn in another world. The sun was shining brightly. A huge beam of light appeared. Kazami fell to the ground. He said that this was not a pleasant way to reincarnate. He looked up at the sky in surprise. There was something like dragons flying there. He was pleasantly surprised. The hero said that he was finally in another world. He didn't feel reborn and thought that maybe this was reincarnation. He realized that he felt something under his heel. It was an exhaling goblin. Realizing that it was a goblin, Kazami jumped back frightened, and then saw that it was dead. He thought he had killed him when he fell from above. There was a pebble lying near the goblin's hand. The hero picked it up and assumed it was a silver stone. It was quite beautiful, and he decided to keep it. He wanted to see what this status window showed. Kazami thought that if only the goddess was around, he could ask her. He thought that even if he just looked at it, his luck indicator was definitely some kind of strange. Suddenly, he heard a scream, after which he saw an ass from above. There was a girl flying straight at him. She landed, scattering the rocks. Lyatha groaned in pain. She didn't understand why she was hurt as well. She fell right on top of Kazami, who was also in pain. She noticed the hero beneath her and said it was him. The one called her Blue, but then corrected himself by saying she was Miss Goddess. The girl didn't realize what Blue meant. The next moment, she covered her panties with her dress in shock. The hero only said not to say that she was worried about him, and that's why she came here. She replied that of course not, and she was brought here because of him. Kazami asked if she could not go back. Lyatha replied that she couldn't contact the heavenly world, for some reason, and it was strange. She said that she tried to send them a message, but it just wouldn't connect her to the celestial world. Kazami asked if it could be that there was some kind of bug due to being transported to another world against the will of the higher ones. The girl asked what a bug was. The hero said that his status is also strange, and he doesn't think that luck 99,999,999 is normal. Lyatha replied that it can't be like that, and after all, the limit is only 99. She said that in general, a normal person shouldn't see the status. She moved closer to his face. He didn't realize what she was doing. She said she couldn't see. Kazami said maybe it's just because it's his. The girl said she couldn't see his statuses, but the goddess should be able to look into them. He assumed it was a bug too. The girl looked at him with disdain. She began to cry, asking what kind of bug it was and how she could get back. The hero replied that who would have thought such a thing would happen. She screamed that it was him, and he was the reason she pressed the transfer button. He thought it was her who pressed it and asked her not to cry. He apologized and said that he didn't really mean to pull her in. He said it was his fault. Lyatha wiped away her tears. She said there was nothing more to be done. The hero asked, in all honesty, what she was going to do. The girl replied that everything was fine, and she was sure help would come soon. She said she would just kill time waiting. She asked if that was how he got a chance to fulfill his dream and told him to just do what he wanted. Kazami hesitated. He asked if she wanted to go with him. The girl was surprised. He said that he meant that after all, it was his fault that Miss Goddess was dragged into this mess, and he would like to do something to justify his guilt to her. They exchanged a glance. Lyatha asked if he was sure and said that if he was with her, she might pull him back in when help arrived. He replied that then he would have to go to heaven. The hero said that leaving the crying girl alone was definitely against his ambition. The one replied that she did not know what he meant and she was not crying. Lyatha moved closer to him and said that if he insisted, she would go with him until help arrived for her. She said she was so curious how he was going to make it up to her. Lyatha joined the team. She once again asked what his name was. The hero replied to call him simply Jinta. She asked if he was sure and told him to just call her Lyatha then. She asked what they were talking about. The girl said that she would be by his side, even if only for a short while, that Jinta was very fortunate. He asked why that was. He asked if it was because Lyatha was nice. She, red and embarrassed, screamed and said she didn't mean it. The hero said she turned all red. The girl said she meant that in this world, many people know her for all sorts of favors. She said that whether it be geography, nature, or the creatures that live in this world, from the basics to the most complicated things, she knows about everything. She gave the example that there was a small town called Hohin and suggested that they get there first. Jinta said that she really knows a lot. She replied that it was natural since she was a goddess. She said to just ask her anything he wanted to know. The hero was surprised but agreed. He said he had one question for their beautiful goddess Lyatha-chan, and that was about the item he found here. Lyatha said that she felt like he was just mocking her. He held out the silver stone to her and asked if she knew anything about it. The girl hesitated and asked to see it. She said it was a magic crystal called a core. They are sometimes left behind by monsters, and she could tell their rank by their color. Kazami was surprised. Lyatha stopped him and asked him if he was joking. Then she shouted that it was silver and it was amazing. She asked where he got it. The one replied that just now, he found it near a goblin he accidentally killed. The girl was surprised at the word accidentally. He asked if the silver color was rare. She replied that it was correct. Lytha said that among the nuclei it is second from the top after rainbow, followed by gold, and that this is what the wounds of the nuclei look like. She said that if he sold it, it would be worth somewhere around 100,000 rin. That's about 100,000 yen. She told Jinta that it was a good job. The one replied that even after her words, he didn't have that feeling. The girl said that she was just trying to say that it was incredible to just find him like that, and he should just be grateful for his good fortune. Lytha said that under normal circumstances, he would have had to go to the dungeon for months to find even one. He was surprised. She said he was lucky to find it that way, and he would never have found 100,000 on the road in his life. The hero agreed. He said that if he had a lot of it, Lytha wouldn't have to leave. The girl was surprised. She asked again if it was for her and if he was sure. The one replied that of course. He said that he still hadn't apologized to her for what had happened, so he asked her to let him take care of everything. The girl thanked him cheerfully. She turned to him. Jinta pondered. He said that was fine and suggested that we go to that little town or something. Lytha asked him to wait. She suggested keeping the cores in his inventory just in case and said she would teach him how to use it. Toth asked again about the inventory. They found themselves at the gate. The girl told Jinta that here they were. She said that this was the town of Hohin. The hero was pleasantly surprised. The township was located near the mountains. Jinta said that he had a very positive impression of the township. Lytha replied that this town was much more lively than she thought. At the shop, they expressed their gratitude. Kazami, holding the money in his hand, said that they had indeed sold it. He said 100,000 rin as Lytha said, and the sight of money makes him happier. The girl said that of course it was all thanks to the great her. The hero said how good it was that he picked up that stone. The girl asked if he saw anything else they could sell. Jinta replied that he had not, and that only Lytha's panties. He suggested that they look for a place to sleep. Lytha interrogated what Jinta had just said. He replied that he had offered to look for a place to sleep. The girl said before that. The heroes heard the woman asking the man to stop, calling him dear. She yelled that it was their money for the month. The one yelled back at her to shut up, and that once again. He only had to play one more time. Kazami asked what it was. The man yelled to the woman to shut up and watch, and she told him to wait. Lytha replied that it was an object gacha. He asked again. She said it was a type of arcade game. The girl explained that it was a machine with a pile of ores inside, and one could draw one of them, and depending on the color of the winnings, one could exchange it for some prizes. But there was no way to predict which stone would fall out. Jinta said that means it all depends on luck. Lytha agreed and said that this is why it is called object gacha. She said that among the prizes there are many prestigious things, but most of them are just trash. The hero asked if anyone wins there at all. She said that of course there are such people, but the chances are negligible. The girl said that one would have to be very lucky to be one of them. Jinta smiled thoughtfully. He asked if it was true that as long as luck was on a person's side, he would definitely be able to win something worthwhile. They entered the building. Lytha asked if he was serious now. The hero replied in the affirmative, and that he just wanted to try it once. He saw that 1,000 rin for one try. The girl yelled that he couldn't, and he would probably get some useless trash. She said that the subject gacha is very quickly addictive, and it is the most dangerous thing in the world. Kazami replied that it would be fine and asked her to just trust him. She asked why he was so sure. Toth began to explain what he meant. He said that after all, he had the goddess with him. He apologized to the people present. The people at the table laughed that he had said about the goddess. The hero said he wanted to try it once. The girl behind the construction site said that if he paid 10,000 rin, he could try 11 times and asked if he was sure he only wanted one try. A man approached Jinta from behind and said that if he were, he would pay 10,000. The hero was puzzled. The guy at the table said that was right, and this way he would have more tries to win something cool. Lytha took him by the sleeve. The hero refused and said just once. The girl behind the counter said she understood, and the man offered to start. Jinta thought that if he was as lucky as Lytha said, This one try would prove everything. The hero stood in front of the machine. He turned the key, and a ball fell out of the apparatus. His luck so far was 999,999. He opened the balloon and everything was illuminated with light. The workers of the subject gacha were amazed. Lytha was also very surprised. Kazami thought about what if this status wasn't a simple bug. The girl behind the counter said that he had gotten a super prize. The hero rejoiced. The man said that it couldn't be, that it was impossible. The tables were talking over what kind of guy it was. Lytha said it was a rainbow core, the rarest of them all. She thought she was asleep. Jinta said that he had told him to provide it to him. He thought that it was true that these were his real stats. The worker expressed her congratulations and said about the prize for getting the rainbow core. It was the super prize of Levitain. Levitain was received. The heroes rejoiced that they had gotten something really cool. There were rumors. Everyone was discussing that someone had won Levitain. The man at the table was surprised and said that he had been going at it for years. Another said that he had too, and if only he had this sword, fighting a hippopotamus would be a couple of trifles. Lytha said that it seems they are becoming the main personalities of the town. The hero agreed. He said that apparently it really is a cool sword. The girl replied that it was SSSR after all. Kazami asked again. She said that it was the rarest of all, and he could sell it for hundreds of millions. The hero was shocked. He said that selling it would be a terrible loss. The girl asked if he was going to sell it. Lytha said that a past hero had defeated the King of Demons with this very sword. But in the end, no one was able to use it, and it just went around the world. She said that she thought Jinta would never be able to use it. Thoth replied that we won't know without trying. He said he would think about what could be done with it if he couldn't use it after testing it. The goddess said that there would be thieves targeting the winner as well, so she would sell it, and thinks it's the smartest way out of the situation. Heroes were thanked for waiting. The waitress brought them their food, saying it was their dessert, ice pingo. Lytha said happily that here it was, pingo. Jinta asked if she liked pingo. She answered in the affirmative. When they arrived, Lytha collapsed on the bed, saying that she was full. Kazami said that the food here was very good. The girl's skirt was slightly up, which embarrassed the hero. Lytha said that from that moment on, she never managed to contact the heavenly world. She said that she thought she would have to stay here for a while. The hero thought about the goddess being completely open. She asked what Jinta planned to do next, and if he was going to be an adventurer. He thought about it and said that he thought it was the fastest way to increase rank. The girl replied that the risks are pretty high there too. The hero replied that he was aware of the risks. After all, it was all for his ambition. Lytha blushed. She told Jinta to be simpler, and that as long as she was around, they would not be in any danger. She said that to get Jinta settled in this world, she would teach him everything she knew. The girl said that she was level 999, and after all, the strongest goddess. He was confused. She asked what was wrong. He replied that he was very happy, but her status was a bit like the goblin he met during the day. Lytha interjected. She said that it couldn't be and asked him to look more closely. The girl fell off the bed. She was in pain and tears came out. She did not understand why she was in so much pain from such a light blow. Jinta replied that it was probably a bug from forced teleportation. The goddess on the bed turned away and said that she was no longer interested. The hero realized that she was offended. He decided to go outside. The receptionist asked where he was going at such a late hour. Jinta replied that he just had insomnia. He thought about how it was hard to calm down when there was a girl sleeping next to him and no more bugs. He said he was going for a walk and would be back soon. The hero walked out of the building. Walking down the street, he said that since there was time, he should try to use Levitain. He was thinking about what else he should register soon. Suddenly, he saw a security guard just sleeping and decided he had better. Kazami decided that this must be a pretty good place. He opened the item vault. From it, he pulled out a Levitain. The hero thought that this vault was indeed a handy thing. He took out a sword from its sheath. The hero said that even though she said he couldn't use it, he could use it for now. He remembered that he had seen some skills from this sword. Jinta decided to try out the dark fiber first and thought that it was somehow scary to suddenly fight a monster. He decided to target that big black stone. He wasn't sure how to use it, but he wondered what it was like. Suddenly, a pattern of light formed under the hero's feet. There were streams of wind around him, drawing designs near the sword. Jinta was puzzled. A dark fiber that was several times larger than the hero headed forward and attacked. It fell backward. The hero thought it came out pretty easily. He realized this is what magic is like. A loud growl was heard. Jinta noticed that there was someone where that rock was. It was a dragon. The hero realized that it was not a stone. Looking at the creature's characteristics, Jinta realized that it wasn't stone after all. He thought to kill Behemoth with a single blow. The power of this sword is terrifying. He noticed that there was something glittering in the darkness. It was another core, again silver. He thought that he could get a good amount of money for selling this horn and scales. He was on his way back home. Jinta said that his whole body was so sluggish, and apparently he had spent too much mana on that magic. He thought that it looked like he would be able to get a decent night's sleep thanks to that. When he came in, Ryatha asked where he had gone. There were tears in her eyes. Jinta replied that he had gone out for a walk. The girl yelled at him, asking why he just left without saying anything, that he made her worry. The hero apologized and asked if something had happened. The girl looked sad. She replied that she thought Jinta had abandoned her and gone somewhere by himself. He asked with a smile if that was the reason she had cried. She replied that she had not cried. Kazami said that Lyatha was such a crybaby that she could not worry and he would not leave her. The girl was angry and explained that that's why she said she didn't cry, asking him to stop stroking her. She yelled that she hadn't cried at all and asked if he was sure he'd gotten a good look at everything. Jinta asked why she wouldn't just accept it. Lyatha said that in any case, he dare not leave again without telling her anything. He replied that he understood already and asked her to stop pushing. Suddenly, because of the pushing, Jinta started falling on the bed and Lyatha right behind him. They fell in such a way that they kissed each other. Both were very confused, not realizing what had happened. Lyatha blushed and recoiled. She said that it was not what he thought it was. She started to run away. Jinta was puzzled. The girl was lying on her bed in shock. The hero looked at her fearfully. They decided that it was time to sleep. Lyatha had already fallen asleep. Kazami looked at her. He remembered her saying that she thought he had abandoned her. He thought about the fact that considering she had suddenly gotten here with him and her level had dropped to level 1 because of a bug, she must be scared now. It was morning. Lyatha woke up with a dissatisfied face. The hero wished her a good morning. She said that her memory seemed hazy and asked if something had happened last night when he returned. Jinta hesitated and suggested that he had better wash his face for now. Over tea, the girl said that she had decided to help Jinta. He interjected. She said that she would help Jinta become an adventurer. She said that in the end, she didn't know when she would be able to go home, and that having Jinta help her forever just didn't seem right to her. Toth replied that he was fine with it. Lyatha said that she was even more against it and asked to just let her help a little. The hero replied that she knows a lot about the world and that would play a big part. She asked if that was true. The girl asked to give her his hand. He was surprised but held it out. Lyatha grabbed his hand. She suggested with a smile that they try together. The hero agreed. The girl interrogated if he had really defeated Hippo alone. She said he was joking and hippos are very strong. She said that even the famous Crescent Moon Alliance could not handle him, and Jinta would not have defeated him by himself. Thoth held out a horn to her and said that it was the horn he had picked up from him. The girl was confused. She saw that it was so big, and it was no doubt a hippopotamus. She realized that it was serious, and he had really overpowered it. Lyatha asked how he did it. Kazami said he used the magic from that sword. He said he tried it on a random rock, and it was like boom, and then this. The girl asked if he wanted to say that he could use Levitain. The one replied positively, and that no problem at all. The goddess said that it was strange, and usually they can't even get it out of its sheath. The hero was surprised and thought he pulled it out with ease. The girl asked what he was going to do. He replied that he was thinking of selling the horn and everything else. She said she would go with him. They ended up in a shop. The woman working there was shocked that he had killed Hippo and done it alone. She said it was hard to believe, but the horn and scales were real. She apologized and said she couldn't buy it and he'd better go to the guild. Jinta interjected. The woman said that if he reported the task properly, he would be rewarded properly. Litha said that now that she mentioned it, On remembered that there should be a quest to kill Behemoth. The woman said that in any case, she was giving them a report on the evaluation of the materials, and it would help them when they reported the quest. The heroes thanked. Litha also offered to buy the hero some other clothes. The one asked why. She said that because he kind of smells like cinders. He was surprised and said he could have told her earlier. She offered to make him handsome. Jinta sniffed his sleeve and thought that it must be from that magic. The hero changed his clothes. The saleswoman said it looked so good on him, Yuokilo. He asked again. She said that it was the Universe of Clothes Alliance clothes, and lately this kind of look was considered quite fashionable among young people. Jinta asked Litha what it looked like. He said that it was just the first time he had ever had the chance to wear something like this and asked if it looked strange. The girl hesitated. The salesgirl asked her if he didn't look cool. Jinta imagined that Litha said that it seems that clothes make men, and he still stinks a little, so apparently the problem is not the clothes, but him, she thought. Litha, embarrassed, said he looked cool. The hero, also shy, thanked. The saleswoman said it was good to be young. Outside the window, some guys were looking at the heroes. One told the other to look. They looked at Levitane and discussed that not a bad thing he was carrying. Jinta said HP plus 3000, MP plus 3000, ATK plus 2000, Int plus 3000, and 2 magic levels. Litha replied that it was just as she thought. She said that defeating Behemoth alone was already weird. She explained that this status was 10 times the normal status of this sword. The hero was surprised. The girl took the sword in her hands and asked how. The hero looked at the characteristics and said that it was indeed 10 times less than what he had. She said that if he has this sword, his status increases 10 times, and she wondered why. Jinta asked if it could have something to do with his luck. She said that usually luck doesn't affect the status of an equipment in any way. But yes, his boundless luck probably had something to do with this phenomenon. He asked in surprise what she meant. The girl replied that it was a bug. The hero said that he still didn't understand. Litha said that she would probably return the sword anyway, and just holding it makes her feel disgusted. Thoth replied that he understood. She asked what he planned to do after that. Jinta hesitated for a moment. The girl said that actually, she wanted to go somewhere. The worker greeted the heroes when they arrived at the subject gacha. Jinta thought that of all places. Litha asked if everything was okay and said she wanted to try it too. He asked if she wanted to knock something out here. The girl replied that of course, and in fact she was still aiming yesterday. She pointed her finger. Jinta saw a house on the shore of the lake. He asked about the house. The girl said that it was very important. Litha said that they couldn't continue to live in the inn, after all. He asked if she was aware that this prize was gold class. He said they won't get it so easily, and she only has a luck of 1. The girl said they wouldn't know until they tried it. She really asked him for just 1. The one replied that he had done this one before so just once and handed her a bill. Litha was very happy. He said before she tried it, "Here." He held out his arms for a hug. The girl did not understand. He said he would share her good fortune and told her to hug him. Tha said she didn't want to, and he must be thinking of something indecent. She said she didn't want his suspicious powers and would show him the true power of the goddess. 10 minutes passed. She screamed, asking for one more time. She said just one more time and she'd be out of here. Jinta asked if she was stupid or what. He said this is the 10th time, and she said just one time and what kind of trash she won. Litha said they are prizes. She won 4 pebbles from the plains, 3 mossy cloths, 2 sticks to draw on the ground with, and 3 used handkerchiefs. She said they were prizes. The hero replied that they were ordinary trash. He asked if she was sure it was not a simple gacha addiction and asked her to just tell him honestly if she had become addicted. The girl said that it was not at all. Jinta asked if she would then mind if he tried it. He said that after all, they only wanted the house and there was no difference in who kicks it out and asked if that was so. The girl grudgingly said yes. He said she didn't seem very happy about it. He said he understood how she wanted to experience the feeling of victory. Lyatha said that was not the point. She thought that if it was won by Jinta. The girl said that actually it was her home. That it was her home, wasn't it? She said that he would probably say such a thing. The hero replied that he wouldn't say such a thing and asked if she was now trying to impersonate him. He took her by the shoulders and said he would never say such cruel words. He offered, if he won, to stay there together, the two of them. Lyatha was embarrassed but agreed. Jinta was embarrassed and said it sounded wrong. An employee of the establishment congratulated them. Jinta said she was wrong and it was not at all what it sounded like. The lady said that they are the same visitors. The hero said that they were. She said it was admirable beginner's luck. The hero asked if she said that because it was the first time he had tried it. Ta said yes. She said that trying just once was common for those trying it for the first time. She asked if they wanted to get the lakeside house. The hero answered in the affirmative. He said as she could see his goddess had already tried that. He held out 1,000 rin and asked for one try. The worker asked if he was sure. She said she would recommend putting in 10,000. Beginner's luck doesn't come twice. He replied that that one he would just as usual win it and asked for one try. She replied that she hoped he would win it. Jinta said he would definitely win it. Lyatha told him to try his best and asked him to strike gold. He said he would just knock out the capsule. The girl kept telling him to try his best. The other worker said that if he won again, they would have no grand prizes left and asked if that was definitely okay. The one answered her not to be dumb, that it was normal and miracles don't happen that often and just don't happen. Jinta whipped out a capsule. The female workers tensely watched. He opened it and realized there was an inferior. He apologized to Lyatha and said that it looked like he had pulled something wrong and a yellow stone had fallen out. She asked him to show her. The girl said that it was gold. The hero was surprised and said that he had won. He showed the stone to Miss Clerk. She was in a stupor. The hero tried to shout to her. The lakeside house was obtained. Jinta said he never thought he would win the house. He was shouted at by Lyatha. She said the carriage would take them to the lodge. The coachman told the boys that they were so lucky. He said that these plains were impassable until yesterday because of the hippo dragon. The hero asked if everything was all right now. The one replied of course, and he had heard that he had been killed. Jinta smiled. He asked if Lyatha had heard what they were just talking about. She looked ill and looked out of the wagon. The hero asked what was wrong with her. The one replied that she was fine. She said that she was just a little dizzy and had a lot of motion sickness in the carriage. Jinta said that maybe it would be better to walk. Suddenly the horse jumped up and the carriage shook. The hero asked what the hell had happened. The coachman was frightened. They were surrounded by people and told the kid in the carriage to get out to grind. Jinta came out and apologized. The lad said they saw him win a house in the gacha, and so they decided to overtake him. The hero thought, what kind of strange types are these? He asked if he understood correctly that the guy was asking him to give him his house. The guy said fuck it, he didn't care about the house on the lake. He pointed his finger at what he wanted. He said he wanted the hero's magic sword. Kazami was surprised that he knew about this sword. The boy asked if he thought no one would notice him when he wore it so openly. He said he didn't know about the others, but he wasn't blind and they would get a lot of money by selling it. A huge pile of money. The other guy turned to the first guy. He grabbed Lyatha and asked him what he thought of the little girl, adding that she was quite pretty and they could have a good time with her. The latter replied that she was all right and he was sure they would have a good time with her. He told her that he didn't expect her to stare at him without screaming in fear, that it was good and he liked strong girls. Jinta said that wasn't the point, but that she was just really seasick. The guy told the hero to give the key to the lake house to him too. The guy was puzzled. The outlaw said they just need it, that the lake house was a great place to get away from prying ears and have some fun with that body, pointing to Lyatha. He told Kazami not to worry and that they would take care of this girl. The hero said that they only wanted his sword at first. The guy agreed and said that it was a pity. Jinta said he refused and called them idiots. The bandit got angry. He said that the hero didn't seem to care about his life at all. Kazami was surrounded and he reached for his sword. Lyatha shouted at him. One of the brigands asked if they should be wary of this magic sword. Another said that they had nothing to fear, and in fact, it was just a piece of junk that couldn't even be taken out of its sheath, and the only thing it had was its value as an antique. Jinta took the sword out of its sheath. He swung it around, taking advantage of the ashes. The bandit was shocked at what was happening. The hero said about the house and Lyatha. He said they would stay his and attacked. The ground started to crack and reached the guys. Their team split into two. One guy said in surprise that the hero had cracked the ground. The other said that it was not at all what he was talking about. Jinta thought how stupid they were. He asked the brigand if he said he wanted a sword and a house. The one along with the others began to run away frightened. As they ran away, they shouted asking for forgiveness. The hero exhaled. He told Lyatha that it was all over. She looked at him, almost crying. The coachman came out from behind a tree and congratulated Jinta on her victory. He said that the girl was so lethargic before, and now she was squirming such a face. He asked if she was frightened. The girl answered in the affirmative. He asked if he thought she would be kidnapped and taken away from him. She said yes. He said there was no need to cry anymore and everything was okay now. She replied that she was not crying. He said he didn't know she wouldn't admit it again. She recalled his words that both the house and Lyatha would remain his. The girl became embarrassed. Jinta asked what was the matter. She replied that it was nothing and thanked him, holding his hand. The hero suggested that she go and said that he would ask her to drive slower so that she would not get too much motion sickness. The girl said that now that he reminded her, she felt sick again. Lyatha asked if there really was a house in such a remote area. Jinta replied that that was what the old coachman had said, so there must be somewhere. The girl told him to see if it was, pointing to the house. She said there was a lake nearby too. The hero marveled. It was clean and sunny inside. The girl said it was striking. Jinta asked if she liked it. She replied that she liked it very much. She said that she had always dreamed of a house like this. Lyatha said the air in the forest is so clean. She said just look at that view. Looking out the window, they were surprised. The hero said that you definitely don't see this kind of thing very often. He said that there is nothing like this in Japan. He said that it was a house with a free dragon roommate. The girl called him a fool and asked if he thought it was one of the features. The dragon roared at Lyatha. She was frightened, falling backwards, and told Jinta to hurry up and do something already. The one said that indeed. He said that it was convenient, of course, to just say do something, but suggested that he look. He looked up the dragon's characteristics and said that it was level 16. The hero's level was a little higher, so he thought he could do something. Suddenly he realized that it was a cub. Lyatha asked what his level was now then, since he said a little higher. The one replied that it was 18. The girl asked again. She said that yes, he had chopped up Behemoth. He had just reincarnated yesterday, and he was already level 18. Jinta apologized in advance and said that it wasn't that he wanted to resort to violence towards the child, but he has no other choice since he can't let him eat them. He said that he wouldn't spare anyone. The dragon lowered itself nicely. The hero was perplexed. He did not understand what this pose was. The dragon made some noises. The hero interrogated and apologized, saying that she didn't understand the dragons. He saw that there was no hostility in its eyes and wondered what it meant. Jinta was called out by Lyatha. She asked if he had lost already. The one shouted why the fuck would she ask such a thing, especially when she herself was hiding on the second floor. She asked, anyway, what happened? He asked her to come down for a second and look at it. The girl said it was amazing. She asked if that was the way dragons swear allegiance. Kazami questioned whether it was true. She answered in the affirmative and told him to look. He leaned against the ground and tilted his head down and asked if it was true, adding that it seemed to be right. The hero was surprised. The girl asked how on earth he had done it. The one replied that, to be honest, he didn't know himself. Lyatha said that maybe he saw its fire and mistook it for his mother. After all, it is a fire dragon. Jinta replied that it was unlikely that the reason was so obtuse. He said that if you think about it, where did a baby dragon come from in the first place and all alone? He asked the dragon if it was lost. The one made a frustrated sound. Lyatha asked what they would do with the dragon. She said that he seemed meek enough now. The hero agreed and said he was. The girl asked, if one looks closely, isn't he a bit cute? Jinta agreed. She playfully asked what to do. The hero realized that she definitely wanted to keep him. He thought she looked like a child asking to keep a picked-up kitten. He replied that he thought it was okay to keep it, at least until they could find its family. Lyatha asked if he was sure. She said, hugging the dragon, that if that was what he wanted, it was fine with her, and there was nothing to be done. Jinta thanked for the permission. She told the dragon that she was pleased to meet him, and he pushed her away with his paw. The hero said that now that they had acquired a base, they could finally begin the life of adventurers. He said they would do just that. Clothes, shelter, food, and a dragon. The adventurer Jinta is fully prepared. Jinta woke up confused. Lifa was sleeping next to him. He didn't understand why he was in the same bed with her. He began to remember what they had done yesterday. He remembered that after they had cleaned up the house and after they had explored the neighborhood with the dragon, it was already night. He said that there was only one bed. The girl replied that it looked like it. The hero said he would sleep on the sofa in the living room. Lyatha said to wait. She said that this bed was big enough, and she was sure the two of them would fit together without any problem. He interjected. Jinta thought that two people sharing one bed was. He imagined her saying that he should take responsibility for doing such a thing to her, and thought it was something like this. In fact, Lyatha fell asleep almost immediately, and his mind slowly drifted into a sad, Isekai'd darkness. He got up and thought she was playing with a man's innocent heart. He heard a sound. The girl woke up too. She said she was hungry. There was fruit on the table. She said that they were the same fruits of the Pinoy and asked where he found them. Toth replied that he had found them yesterday in the forest. He said that Hiai-chan thought they tasted good, so he took some for her. Lyatha asked about Hiai-chan and who it was. Jinta replied that Hiai-chan is a baby dragon. She is a fire dragon, so he called her Hiai-chan. The girl thought it was an awfully simple name. The hero said as for today's plans, he wanted to go back to Honan City for a while. Lyatha asked if that was the case, that he wanted to try his luck at Gacha again. She said she would go as well. He replied in the negative. The hero said that they had completely forgotten themselves with this house, but they still need to confirm their report after all. He asked if that was not the case. The girl interjected and then realized that he was in favor of killing Hippo. She asked if it was correct that it turns out they would be going to the guild. He said that was absolutely correct. Lyatha said that in that case, they should go as soon as possible. They came here by wagon yesterday, but after all, it would take half a day to go home on foot. Jinta interjected. Hiai-chan made a sound. The hero looked at her. He asked if she wanted to say she would drive them. She said yes. They rejoiced. Jinta said that riding a dragon, they would get there in no time. Lyatha thanked Hiai-chan. They traveled forward to Honan. The dragon ran. The hero was surprised that she couldn't fly, but said that although they would get there pretty quickly. Lyatha said that Hiai-chan is still too young. She will get the skill of flying when she is a little older. Jinta replied that it was clear to him, and he hoped that he would see her flying soon. He told Lyatha that she looked pale somehow and asked if she was all right. She replied that she was fine. She said that except that some of the pingos she had eaten were climbing back outside. The hero asked her to bear with her a little longer. He said they were almost to the gate and had only a little more to go. The guards at the gate looked at each other. Jinta apologized and said that they would like to go into the city. Those saw the dragon, they were frightened. The hero asked if they could come in for a while. The guard fearfully said they could not. Kazami said he was sure it was because of Hiai-chan, and he hadn't thought of that. He apologized to the dragon and asked if she could wait for them here. He gave her a pingo and asked her in return to be a goody-goody until they came back. Another guard asked if Jinta could command this dragon. The one replied that he wouldn't say command, though she listens to most of his instructions. The guard said that a dragon taking orders from a human could not be such a thing. He asked if they understood human speech and said that judging by the size, this one must be still young. He said he was to the point that a dragon can't be particularly intelligent. Suddenly, Hiei-chan removed the armor from his head with her fire. His hair caught on fire and he screamed loudly. The other guard said that the dragon seemed to understand him perfectly. Jinta said that you can't burn people's hair and she is a bad girl. The hero and Laifas were walking down a city street. She said that dragons, themselves class of monsters, were considered by most to be the natural enemies of mankind. Kazami thought that explained why the guards reacted that way. He said that they had just brought and placed one of those right in front of the gate, and even one slightest wrong move could plunge the entire city into panic. The girl replied that she was sure, in the first place, he just wanted to show off. And indeed, Jinta, such a child. He asked where exactly the guild was located while rubbing the girl's cheek. She mumbled something. He said he didn't understand a word. Lyatha said the guild was down this street, right next door to the hall of gacha items. Jinta interjected. She said exactly gacha items, right next door. The girl asked what was the matter. The hero replied that it was nothing. He said that since they were here, they could stop by this hall for a bit later. She replied that in principle, she didn't mind either. After looking at the signboard, the hero said that the awards this time are not as luxurious as before, and it's probably his fault. He said that in that case, perhaps they shouldn't have come here. He heard crying. Jinta yelled to Lyatha, just don't start whining. He said he would let her play once, just asked her not to cry and asked how long she had waited for this. The girl screamed that it wasn't her. They saw the crying girl in front of them. The hero asked Lyatha if it was true that this was a gambling hall and why a little girl was here. She replied that they would not know until they asked. She told the girl that her name was Lyatha and asked her what her name was. The Tao replied that it was Ellie. The girl said that Ellie-chan meant. She asked if the one could tell why she was crying. Ellie replied that there is a prize here that she wants to get no matter what. She said there was no way she could win it. Lyatha said that no matter how much money she squandered, all she got was garbage, and it must be hard on her. Jinta thought she had found a kindred spirit. He asked Ellie what kind of prize she wanted. She pointed to Yoichi's mighty bow. He marveled at the bow. The hero asked if she wanted to give it to someone. The girl replied that no, that it was her father's bow. Lyatha asked if she came here today with her father. Ellie replied that her father was killed by Hippo. Jinta asked if that was the case. Was that a reminder? He thought it happened long before he arrived in this world. Ellie's father faced Hippo armed with this bow and lost. At some point, the discarded bow fell into the hands of a random passerby and then, changing hands many times, eventually ended up in the hands of the owner of the gambling hall. Ellie said she'd been looking for it for so long and finally found it. Lyatha told her not to worry. She said that Jinta's brother would get that bow for her in one try. The girl asked if this was true. The one replied that the girl should not be in a hurry to give hope to people, or she would take the responsibility herself if he suddenly failed. Lyatha asked if he wanted to say he couldn't do it. Toth called her a fool and told her to consider that he had already won it. The employee at the arcade told the heroes welcome. She said that they had decided to visit them today too. Lyatha responded positively and said that she had come for the grand prize. She said she came for the super rare gold core mighty Yoichi bow. She said to behold her revenge for yesterday. Eliai said that Sister Lyatha is so cool and Jinta was surprised that she would play. After a while, she felt destroyed from losing. The hero wondered how it was possible to draw so much fluff. She said that something was wrong and this gacha was definitely Zabagged. Jinta only suggested not to throw strange accusations. He said seriously, she could watch, and he would knock it out himself. The girl shouted that she still had one last capsule left. She got a Moon Core R, a food coupon for 2,000 rin. Lyatha said she had gotten it, her first normal reward. She hugged Jinta saying that she did it, and she succeeded. Ellie also said she did it and Sister Lyatha is amazing. Hero said to stop already and that it's not even what they need. Ellie he also told not to give in to her mood. The girl said they would then go eat something yummy with that coupon. He wondered. The hero wondered why he had to stay here alone. Ellie shouted to her brother Jinta. She told him to try harder. Lyatha also told him to hang in there. The hero agreed and told them to trust him. They said they trusted and left wishing him luck. He decided he would just win that bow quickly and go to them. The worker greeted him again. He saw that the machine had gotten huge. He said that he would rather play the regular machine. He was answered that it was an ordinary machine. Kazami said that it was obvious that their machine was bigger than the one next to it. The girls discussed that it is true, isn't it? He said that he was talking about the automaton. He said he could say with certainty that it was full of blanks and asked if it was even legal to pull something like that. The girl replied that it was a special measure taken against certain customers who wanted to defraud the establishment. She thanked him for his understanding. He wondered if they were talking about him. The girl told the other that he should now give up and go home. The other replied that she even felt a little guilty. Jinta thought that at least it was better than the visitation ban. He said okay then, and he would lose. The worker was surprised. She asked if he was going to play the machine. The man answered in the affirmative and asked if it was still 1,000 rin worth a try. Another worker said that this machine was filled with more than 5,000 blank capsules. He replied that there must be some capsules with normal prizes. She replied that of course there are. He said that he would play then, and this time he had a reason why he just couldn't back out. One of the girls said she had a bad feeling. At this time, Ellie asked Lytha if she thought Brother Jinta would succeed. She replied that of course, and if he is good at anything, it is his luck at Gacha. They noticed him, to which Ellie was very surprised. Lytha said that it looked like he was already finished. Ellie ran to him with a shout. The goddess asked him how it went. He wondered. The hero said it was unlikely he would be welcome there again. Lytha asked what he had done so. She asked what about the bow and whether he had won it. Thoth replied that he had almost forgotten. He held out the bow to Ellie and said it was for her. He asked how it was for her and if this was the bow she wanted. The girl held the bow to her with a smile. She said it was really her father's bow. Lytha asked her if it was great. The girl said yes. She turned to her brother Jinta and sister Lytha and thanked them. They said goodbye to the girl. The hero said he wondered how Ellie-chan would get home alone, and what if she encountered goblins or other difficulties. The girl replied that she was an elf after all. He asked again. The goddess explained that elves are for the most part excellent spellcasters and are also great at archery. So even a little girl like her could be incredibly strong and considered one of the best wizards in the world. Jinta was surprised. Lytha told him not to slow down and that Hiei-chan was waiting for them, so they should hurry home. They hesitated. The hero, while squeezing the girl's cheeks, said that saying this now would be appropriate if they went straight to the guild as they planned, that they didn't come here to play gacha. The girl thanked the heroes for waiting. She held out her guild membership certificate. It was Carla Milan, the assignment officer. Jinta got excited and said that he was now officially an adventurer. Carla told him to just try not to lose it. She asked if his girlfriend would check in today. Lytha asked if it was about her. She said she didn't need to, and that she was a goddess after all. The staff member smiled awkwardly. She offered to handle the assignment they mentioned. Jinta thought that was the smile of a true professional. Carla said that they said they were here to confirm the report of Hippo's murder. Hiro said that they were. She asked if the two of them were representatives of the group that did the assignment and if she understood correctly. Jinta asked what the group was and what she meant. They were puzzled. She shouted out asking if they had done it on their own. She shouted that to accomplish this task, a group of adventurers of B rank or higher, and at least 40 in number. The hero gave her the materials that fell out after he killed Behemoth. The girl said that it was impossible, and it couldn't be, that it was Behemoth's authentic horn, and there must be some mistake. The hero said that he also had a material evaluation report. Carla saw Madame Lin's signature on it. She said that could only mean that all the materials were really genuine and Madame's reports were never wrong. Jinta thought that this shopkeeper seems to have a high reputation as he suddenly realized that it was Madame. Carla asked, "Still how so? Just one person?" She said that killing this monster among monsters shouldn't be possible. The hero asked if that was enough to get the reward for the task. The girl replied that there should be no problem in that regard. But she wanted to object. Carla said that the assignment to kill Behemoth was not sponsored by the guild, so they would need to get all the rewards directly from the client. and in this case, it was Mr. Wag Lions. Jinta interjected to ask if they could get it here. Lyatha thought of Lavav. She was about to say something about him when suddenly the guy knocked her down. He asked the hero if he wanted to join his group. Another guy objected and said he would join his group. Another guy called Jinta a great praised adventurer and asked for an autograph. A girl came up to the hero and told him to forget about those smelly old men and join them, that he would have no regrets and be their only guy. He was surprised. Jinta rather asked him what he should do. At this time, he was approached by the other girls. They asked if he wanted to go with them to the nearest dungeon, adding that they had been told that only 2 would have a hard time there. The one replied that he didn't even know. Lyatha was sad sitting on the floor. She took his hand and pulled him along, telling him that they were going. The hero asked to wait and said that they hadn't heard anything about the client yet after all. The girl replied that it was all right and she knew about him. She said that the House of Lions is a famous elven family and they live in the forest north of here. She said he got excited here like an idiot and it was hard to look at him. The hero asked her what was wrong and if she was angry about something. Lyatha replied that she was not angry. She said that she had never been angry once in her life. He said that of course that was great. Everyone in the guild was discussing that she was angry. They were on their way to Hidai-chan. Jinta asked Lyatha what she was mad about. She replied that she had already said she wasn't mad. He looked ahead and asked if Ellie-chan was there. The girl saw the dragon and was very scared. He shouted to Hiai-chan to stop. She braked sharply in front of the girl, causing her to fall. The hero apologized to her and said that they seemed to have scared her. Ellie said that it was a little brother and a little sister too. She said they are traveling on a dragon and it's so cool. Jinta thanked her. He asked her if she lived here. The girl said she did and that her village was in that forest. He thought about the elf village and Ellie and Lyatha hugged. The hero asked the girl if she knew Waig the lioness. He said they had business with him. The Ta answered in the affirmative, adding that he was their headman. She said she would take them to the village and knew a shortcut. They found themselves in the village of the Lavav family. Jinta said that the elves have a grate. He thanked Ellie-chan and said that they had saved time because of her. She laughed. The girl said the headman lives in a house with a red roof. She said she would go home and wanted to show her mom the onions. The hero said goodbye. Ellie asked if he could and asked him to bend over. He was surprised. She said she couldn't get it that way. He bent over in bewilderment. She said it was okay that way. The girl whispered her thanks to Jinta for Daddy's onions. She gave him a kiss on the cheek. Ally thanked her little brother and sister. They were shocked. Ally ran away humming a little song. The hero said that it was unexpected. Stone-faced Lifa said he was guilty. He asked what for. Hiai-chan went to bed again. At the headman's house, the heroes were greeted. The girl said that she was the headman's daughter and her name was Kuina. She said that her father would be coming soon and asked her to wait here. Lyatha told the hero what a nice girl she was. The man agreed. He said her tits were big too. Kuina asked if she should add milk. Jinta said yes, and more. She agreed. She asked him if he was adventurous. He answered in the affirmative, and that he wanted to report on a completed quest. Kuina said that was it, and it was him. She said okay then. Kazami and Lyatha looked at each other with a question. Waig the Lions walked in. He apologized for keeping the heroes waiting. He said it was a pleasure to meet him, and he was the head of this village, Waig Lions. He said that he believed that Mr. Jinta was before him, and that they had already received a report from the guild. The hero agreed. The man offered to talk about the reward. He turned to his daughter. She replied. Lyatha wondered what they would be given. She assumed the mansion was expensive, maybe gold. The village headman said that destroying Hippo had been a long-time wish of their family, so he decided that he would give it to whoever completed the task. He said he decided to give what he held most dear, his beloved daughter Kuina. The heroes were puzzled. Lyatha interrogated whether the reward was his daughter. Waig answered in the affirmative. Jinta apologized and asked if he had misheard. The man asked to take her. He said that Kuina was a good girl, and for an adventurer's bride, she had a pretty good education. Lyatha was shocked. Quina said that she was skilled in bow and wind magic. She said she would do anything to help her master. The girl said there was nothing special about her, but she hoped she could be useful. The village head said that long ago, the lion family encountered this monster that devastated their hometown. He said that, however, they were completely powerless and lost many of their countrymen, including Ellie's father. Eventually, they escaped and settled here. He said that this was why he had decided what he would do if there was ever a hero who would kill Hippo. He decided to marry off his blood child to him. Lytha, angry, asked why. Waig said that unfortunately, they had already suffered a crushing defeat once, but they were obliged to do something to prevent this tragedy from happening again. He said that, therefore, they were counting on him. He said that Jinta is a great adventurer capable of defeating Behemoth, and his genes will surely make their family stronger. Lytha was outraged. The hero said that although he said so, what made him think that Quina would agree? The man replied that she already seemed to like him, so there was no problem. Quina asked her daddy not to embarrass her like that. The headman said that no one was talking about an immediate wedding and a simple engagement would suffice. He suggested to take her to his paddy for a start. Jinta thought about what this dead grip feeling was and that they didn't even ask his opinion. He said fuck it and he takes it. Lytha was horrified. Waig said this is determination. He asked Mr. Jintu to take care of his daughter. The latter agreed and said to provide it to him. The goddess had tears in her eyes. The three of them were walking and Kuina was holding the hero's hand. The one said, calling her Kuina-san, that he certainly didn't mind, but it wasn't very comfortable to walk like that. She replied that she was just Quina and could go without a san. Lytha looked sad. Quina said she was his future wife and offered without formalities. The goddess queried about a wife. She said that no to get something good, a reward for example, they had dumped some useless maiden. The daughter of the head of the village laughed nervously and asked who she was to the lord. Lytha said that she and Jinta, then blurted out. He said it was his mom. Quina called her mother-in-law in surprise. Lytha got angry. Quina said she didn't care if she was a mother, a lover, or just a bed warmer. She was sure Mr. Jinta would choose her. The goddess replied that as if she cared about him and to watch her tongue. The hero asked if that was enough and since when did they decide for him. Quina agreed and said that the initiative should come from the master. He said that's not what he meant and it's going to be a hard journey. He said they are now a team and asked them to try to get along. Quina agreed. He asked Lytha if she disliked Quina so much. The latter replied that she had said no such thing and that she was glad he had gotten a beautiful bride. He was puzzled. The headman's daughter asked what Jinta was going to do. He said he was thinking of taking a quest to Laguro town and it didn't seem to be far away, so he offered to pick up Hilai-chan and walk. She asked what kind of Hilai-chan was. He said it was their dragon. They picked her up and walked. The heroes ended up in the city of Laguro. Jinta said that this city was much bigger than Hohin. He wanted to offer something to Lytha as suddenly his stomach rumbled. He said he hadn't eaten anything since morning except pingo. The Tai asked if he was hungry. Quina said then they would feed the master. She pointed in one direction and said that there seemed to be a good seafood restaurant there. Lytha pointed in the other direction and said that there seemed to be a popular meat restaurant over there. Quina suggested that she go and eat that meat alone and see if anything would grow. She replied that she could see why her eyes were so dead-eyed. As the saying goes, we are what we eat. They turned to Jinta at the same time. The latter said he wouldn't mind eating meat. He told Lytha to lead the way. She rejoiced and said to provide it to her. She told them to follow her and that she knew what to feed the man. The hero told Quina that they would go there next time. She agreed. At the restaurant, she asked Jinta to say A to get him to open his mouth. The one asked to wait and said he could do it himself. Lytha was getting angry watching this. Quina fed him from a spoon and asked him if it tasted better. He said he didn't know and asked to let him eat normally. He turned his attention to the silent Lytha and said what an unusual sight it was. He was approached by the headman's daughter. She said she thought Lytha wanted him to feed her. The hero asked in surprise if this was true and said that she would have said so at once. The goddess cried out that not at all, and why would she want such a thing? He fed her from his fork and asked her how she was. She replied embarrassed that she didn't know and would rather eat by herself. Jinta asked why she was so pleased. Quina said that it was so nice. She said that Lyatha averted her eyes and her cheeks turned red. Ta shouted that stop watching her. Quina said she just met her today, but she already understood everything. She asked the master not to worry about her and Lyatha, and said she thought they would become friends. Gina said that it was understandable and she had already studied her. He thought that psychologically Quina was more mature. Goddess said she knows something too. She said that elves live longer than humans and grow slower, and Quina looks young, but she's probably about... The girl stopped talking after seeing the creepy look on Quina's face. The latter asked if she wanted to say something. The goddess replied that yes, it was nothing, that the meat here was good. Jinta thought that it looks like the first landmine has been found and should be flagged. The girl told Jinta that he still had the lowest adventurer rank of G, and she doubted there would be any suitable quests to be found. He said he knew it, and that's one boring thing. The hero asked if killing Behemoth counts as an achievement. Anna, the secretary of the Adventurers Guild of Laguro City, replied that of course it counts, but the rules state that you have to complete at least 10 quests to increase rank. He asked if there were any quests where you could fight. Anna replied that there is one quest here from the Trade Guild. She said that it seems that goblins have been interfering with the transportation of goods a lot lately. Jinta replied that it was already much more interesting. He saw that 2 or more adventurers were needed and the conditions were not suitable. Quina said that she would then register as an adventurer. He asked if she was okay with that and said okay then. Thea replied that she was willing to be anything for him, be it a bride or an adventurer. The hero replied that he was glad of her attitude and hoped they would work together, calling her his little sister. She replied that she was too and called him brother. Hero said that something even made him uncomfortable himself, and it looked like he had overdone it. Quina replied that it was fine, and she didn't mind at all. Lyatha was angry. Quina said then he would check in right now and let Lyatha rest. The 2 of them would go on a quest together. Ta asked to stop. She said she wanted to be an adventurer too. Quina asked Jinta if he had already taken the quest. Thoth answered in the affirmative and that he had taken the quest for 3. He said that in principle, Lyatha could not have registered. The one replied something about him being alone with the girl. The elfess asked if that was okay. She said she was fine with it, but whether she could handle it. She asked Lyatha if she knew how to fight, adding that this was not child's play. Jinta quietly asked if her goddess power had recovered yet. She answered in the negative. The girl looked upset. The hero told Quina not to worry and that the task wasn't that difficult. The latter replied that it's fine if Jinta-sen says so. She said that he was so kind to Lyatha. The one replied that it is not that. She suggested that they should prepare themselves. The hero asked if they were already ready. The elfess replied that not quite and that they needed to find Lyatha a weapon. She said that she could get stronger here, though in truth it was her first time here. Jinta was surprised that they were in the lottery again. Quina pointed at their target. She said that it was the perfect item for Lyatha, who didn't know how to do anything. It was the cleric's staff. The goddess said it was good in words, but asked if she thought it was that simple. The elfess said that you could get such a thing practically for free here, and how good it was that the world had such convenient stores. The hero thought she reminded him of someone. Lyatha said that the one didn't seem to know anything about this harsh world, and she was a naive, simple-minded damsel, and these are serious things. Quina asked what she was talking about. The goddess asked if she had heard and said it was called Gacha. She said it was something that breaks people's fates. Jinta thought it was the cry of the soul of a rancid loser. The elfess said that it seems like someone has a lot of bad luck. The hero said that Lyatha's luck was actually 1, and going out on the field, she would definitely step on shit. The one shouted to him not to tell her. She said that then now they will decide who is better. Quina agreed and said she was accepting the challenge. They turned to the hero. He told them to figure it out for themselves. The elven woman said that soon she would turn that money into a mountain of treasure and let them just watch. Jinta agreed. The employee said she was listening to Quina and she stood there not knowing what to do. Lyatha came up to her and told her that she should pay the clerk first and then pull the lever. She replied that she understood and thanked her. The hero wished her good luck. After a while, the elven woman approached Jinta. He asked what was wrong. She said frustratedly that she couldn't win the damn rod. He said that she had won a rare item, after all, and it wasn't that bad. The girl got excited and asked if it was true. He said that at least it wasn't all garbage here, and compared to Lyatha's, she was a child of fortune. Quina asked if she really had that much bad luck. He told her to wait, and that she would soon see for herself. Lyatha turned to him. He said there she was. There was something frightening in front of them. The girl was holding a cursed doll in her hands. She called out to Jinta for help. He asked what the hell Gacha was and if her luck had gone minus. Lyatha said that if she did not hand over this doll within 7 days, she would be cursed. Quina thought to herself, what a tinny thing to say. The hero yelled to the goddess to get the hell out of here and stay away from him, that he didn't want the doll. The heroes had dinner in the town of Liguro. They discussed what was delicious. Jinta said that the time was getting late. Lyatha said that the guild could be visited tomorrow, and then suggested finding an inn. The inn was found. The hero apologized and said that they only had one room. Quina replied that it was fine and they would save money. The goddess said that if Jinta didn't do anything vulgar, she was fine with it. Suddenly, she shouted out asking what the elf girl was doing. The one climbed up on the hero's bed. She said her mattress was a little dusty, so she would sleep with him. He was puzzled. Lyatha then said to sleep with her, calling the girl shameless. The latter said how cruel it was to interfere with the newlyweds. The goddess was shocked. She asked if the one was going to do it right there, adding that she meant since when did they become an official couple, and in general, what would she do if Behemoth was defeated by a woman? Quina wondered. She hovered on top of Lyatha. She undid her button and pulled down her pants, talking about this is it. This is what she wants. She said that Lyatha wanted to know what it was like to be with a guy. The girl was in a panic. She screamed asking for Jinta's help. Quina had already pulled down her panties. The hero said he would go check on Higai-chan and that she must be missing her. The goddess yelled out asking why now. The elfess told Lyatha to hold still or she would rip them apart. The other one screamed loudly. She pressed herself against the wall in panic. Quina said she was just kidding. The women workers were discussing the Gacha vandal. One of them was looking at his portrait. Another said that he had been sent from headquarters this morning and that they should be careful. It was said that he was a young man with black hair and black eyes. He paid no more than 1,000 rin and won a big prize every time. The girl said that there was no such thing and it was probably just another urban legend. Someone approached them. Jinta walked in and held out 1,000 rin. The female employees shouted fearfully that they were missing. The hero went outside. He told Quina that they had the cane. She replied that it was amazing that he was able to win it the first time. Toth said that he would still need to look for armor. The girl agreed and said that safety first. Jinta saw Lyatha and said there she was. He asked if she had gotten rid of that creepy doll yet. Toth turned to him. She said that no one wanted to take her away. He said that someone would take her herself. He showed what he had gotten and said it was the same cane. The hero said that maybe with it, she could try to break the curse. The girl replied that was a thought. With the cane in her hands, she stood in front of the doll. She addressed the purifying light, telling it to manifest its covenant. Jinta thought that she even became like the goddess. She used the restoration. Everything glowed. The doll became ordinary and looked quite nice. Lyatha said that she had done it. She flopped down on the ground in relief. The hero said she did well. Jinta thought that she seemed to be doing pretty well and Lyatha could be a good support. He realized that it would make a pretty balanced group. Quina told him about the mantle she had won earlier and asked if she could give it to Lyatha. He replied that if she wanted it and asked if she needed it herself. However, he seemed to guess. The elfess said she was afraid her hilts would not fit in her and the size was small. The goddess was taken aback. Jinta, embarrassed, said not surprisingly. Quina said he was looking too hard and she was embarrassed. Toth apologized to her. She said it was okay. She just asked him not to do it in the middle of the city. She said he could stare all he wanted at the hotel. He cheerfully asked if that was true, but said he'd probably say no. Standing behind him with a creepy expression on her face was Lyatha. Jinta asked the goddess if she had finished. The one replied in the affirmative, adding that she had changed her clothes. She came out to them with embarrassment. The hero said that it was great. Quina said she looked good. Lyatha asked if her skirt was too short and if it was okay to see her belly button. She got close to the hero and asked him what he thought. He gave it some thought. He said it looked good on her. Jinta said that she looks very cute in those clothes. She said she would keep it then. The hero said fine. They were ready and suggested they finish off the goblins. The girls agreed. In the Lefon Valley, Lyatha called out to Hiai-chan. She didn't answer. She said fearfully that she was gone, and maybe she was bored and went back into the forest to the lake house. Jinta wondered where Hiai-chan was going to go. Quina told them to look, pointing her finger. The dragon was attacked by goblins. The goddess turned to the hero. The one said that he knew. He asked Hiai-chan to wait and said he would help her now. The one looked seriously at the goblin, and because of all her strength, she hit him. She breathed flames on them, and a fight ensued. In the end, the goblins were defeated. The hero thought that the dragons were really strong. He asked if Hiai-chan was alright. She nodded. Lyatha said that even though she was small, she was still a dragon. Jinta said to collect the stones from the goblins that Hiai-chan defeated. They counted 10 pieces. He said that with that, they could consider that they had completed half of the quest and praised the dragon. He said that maybe they could collect the other half quickly as well, and if there were any more goblins nearby. He heard a shout. The 3 men with the wagon were surrounded by goblins. One of them said that they were bloody goblins. Those rushed to attack. They jumped up swinging their weapons and aimed at one of the men. In midair they were chopped in two. It was Jinta who did it in a leap. Fractures appeared on the ground. The remaining goblins fled, but they were attacked by arrows. One of the men asked who it was. Quina used wind arrows. Lyatha came up and said that it seemed she was too late. A couple of goblins climbed into the wagon. The man yelled for them to stop and that they were expensive goods. Lyatha decided she would transgress. She told the goblin to walk away from the luggage, calling it filthy. She jumped and hit him with her cane, but he used his shield. She was puzzled. He smiled, but then he was frightened. A dragon stood behind the girl's back. Lyatha turned to Hiai-chan. The latter growled. She began to use the dragon's breath. The goblins were frightened. Jinta said that it was bad. He yelled for her to stop. He apologized and said that she would burn their goods. Lyatha looked at the goblins and yelled that they were running away. Quina said she would not let them escape. The hero asked her to wait and not to shoot. She asked if he was sure. Thoth said they must have some kind of hideout and they would follow them and sweep the whole nest. The Alpha said that was what was expected of Mr. Jinta. He turned to Lyatha and Hiai-chan and suggested that they end it. The two agreed to do so. The 3 men wondered who they were. Chasing the goblins, they entered the forest. Lyatha said that means this is where those goblins' nest is. Quina said what a creepy place it was. The hero said that the forest is pretty big. He thought about the wreckage of the wagon and the remains of the cargo lying everywhere. He wondered if it all belonged to the traders who were attacked. Quina warned Jinta about what was ahead. He jumped back fearfully, and a spear stabbed into the ground beneath his foot. In front of the heroes were goblins. Jinta said that they had appeared without dust, and something high in their level. He told the team to be careful, and that they were more dangerous on flat ground. The hero told Lyatha to support them from behind, and if any of them get hurt, to immediately use healing magic, so don't worry and relax. To Quina, he told her to protect Lyatha first, only support him if needed. She replied that she understood. He said it might not be easy, but he's counting on them. Jinta told Hiai-chan to just watch. She got upset. He apologized and told her to just smash things. He said let the fight begin and called Hiai-chan forward. Jinta and the dragon were fighting the goblins. Lyatha thought about just relaxing. Suddenly, she noticed a goblin near her. She was startled and covered her head, but he had already been killed. She was surprised to see it. Quina said it was dangerous to gawk around, calling her a princess. The goddess shouted that she knew. The hero asked the goblins what was wrong and said they were quite weak. Hiai-chan looked ahead. He asked her what was wrong. The tree showed someone's claws. A large goblin commander came out to them. Jinta was surprised and said that it looked like someone strong had shown up. The elfess asked for reinforcements and aimed her sky shot. It was as if the goblin didn't feel the impact. She was surprised. The hero thought about Quina's magic bouncing off him and how strong he was. Lytha said that it was Durid armor. Quina asked if it was made of iron balsa. The hero thought about how he didn't know these special terms of theirs and felt redundant. The elfess said the goblin's armor wasn't bad. Lytha said he must have taken them from the merchants. Jinta prepared his sword. Quina suggested that he retreat for now and said that those armed goblins were quite dangerous. She was surprised. The hero stood in the middle of the defeated goblins. He apologized to Quina and said that today he wanted to destroy this nest so that they would no longer rampage on the roads. The latter was surprised. Lytha asked if Quina had forgotten that he was the one who had defeated Hippo. She said that as long as no more dangerous monsters than Behemoth appeared, there was nothing to worry about. The elfess said understandably. She asked if she was completely useless. The goddess said that if no one gets hurt, then she wasn't needed either. Jinta shouted to them that they had enough of making up their own minds. He said he could only fight safely because they had his back. He said he was fighting in front because that was his role in the group and because he didn't want to put them both in danger. The girls were in a stupor. They climbed up to him for a hug. Quina said that he appreciated her so much and now she will follow him all her life. Lytha said that she will try her best too, so let him get hurt as much as possible. Hero said that he doesn't want to get hurt. The girls offered to go ahead for the sake of peace on the roads. Hiai-chan looked displeased. Jinta agreed. He told them not to relax and that they didn't know what lay ahead after all. Lytha took advantage of the healing. She asked if Hiai-chan was hurting anywhere else. The latter was pleased. Jinta said that she was an excellent healer. Tao replied that she was a goddess. He said it was unlikely. He apologized to Hiai-chan for making her go with them and said that when they returned, he would buy her lots of goodies. She licked him happily. He said that was enough. Drooling all over, the hero asked her to stop and laughed, saying don't. He asked the girls if anyone happened to have a handkerchief or towel. Lytha asked if he was fooling around. They walked out into the clearing. Jinta said there was a wide expanse and asked if they had come to the deepest part of the forest. Quina said that this place was somehow strange. Jinta asked again. The one said that there was a tense atmosphere here. She said she had a bad feeling about it. The trees rustled. Everyone was frightened. A huge goblin king appeared in front of them. He shouted loudly. Quina shouted to Lytha to retreat. The hero shouted that he was huge and what a boogeyman. The goblin with sword in hand was crushing the ground. Hiai-chan was hit. She was hit and flew back with a scream. Jinta shouted to her. She landed hard. The girls shouted to her and the goblin was already behind the hero's back. He aimed right at his head. Jinta deftly dodged and chopped his sword with his own so that the severed piece flew far away. The goblin was surprised. The girls looked on fearfully. Drawings began to appear under the hero's feet. He turned to the bloody goblin. A huge ball of blood raced at the goblin, crumbling the ground. He shrieked. Jinta asked how he dared to beat them Hiai-chan and directed a powerful attack. Lytha said what tremendous magic power it was. Quina said that it was amazing. The hero said in surprise that he seemed to be holding back. His faint black flame was all over the clearing. The girls asked if. All three of them were lying on the ground. Lytha said that Jinta said he was holding back, and there was not a wet spot left of the goblin. The one apologized. Quina asked if Hiai-chan was okay. Jinta thought she wouldn't die from that and said it looks like she's hiding somewhere. They started looking for her. The hero said that it was strange, and in his opinion, she was hiding somewhere around here. Lytha said she was nowhere. Someone asked if they were looking for something. Jinta replied that they were looking for Hiai-chan. The girl said she was here. He turned around in surprise. There was a cheerful little girl standing in front of them. He wondered if it was someone else. She threw herself into his arms, calling him master. He asked what she was about and who she was in general. She said the sound she used to make when she was a dragon and said it was her. Jinta said, "Is she really Hirai-chan?" Lyatha noticed that she had horns and wings. Kuina said that she looks a lot like Hiai-chan. The hero said that means it's really Hiai-chan. The girl replied that she said the same. He asked how that happened. Ta replied that she didn't know herself. She said it happened when she was thrown back there and strange water got into her mouth. The girl said that before she knew it, she had become like that, just like them. Jinta said that it is understandable, and in fact nothing is understandable. He asked in surprise if she was a girl. Lyatha told him not to look. She gave Hiai-chan the robe. The latter said it was hard to move in it. The goddess apologized and said that she would find a more appropriate robe for her later. The hero showed the potion and asked if that was what she drank. The girl said that it was right. Kuina asked what it was. He said he didn't know and took it in that box, though there was hardly any left. He said that for sure these potions were stolen, so they have the effect of metamorphosis, turning monsters into humans. Lyatha asked Hiai-chan if she had any pain anywhere and how she was feeling. The Ta asked back. She touched her head, lifted her robe, and looked down. She said she seemed fine. Jinta said they understood and asked her to cover up rather. Kuina suggested looking around first. Lyatha covered Jinta's eyes. He said that was a good idea and maybe they could find a potion that would bring her back to normal. He suggested that since they had defeated the ringleader, they should go back to town first and report back. The heroes found themselves in town. They dumped a mountain of nukes on the old man. He asked in surprise if he should evaluate them. He asked how many nukes there were. Jinta replied that they needed an appraisal for a report for 20 nuclei and thought that here he would buy the extra. The old man replied that he understood and he would need some time. With a quill, he was writing something on the paper, which Hiai was watching carefully. He asked if she had never seen the quill. She answered in the affirmative, and that it was such a strange and interesting thing. The old man said what a strange child it was. He took out a stone and asked what it was. He said that it looked like there were some ordinary stones among the nuclei. The hero was very surprised and apologized. He thought about what it was that he had picked up in the forest where he had killed the Goblin King. He thought it was a goblin core, but apparently it was something else, and we should ask Lyatha about it. He asked where Lyatha and Kuina had gone. The old man said that if he meant those girls, they went to the children's clothing department. The girl's name was Hee-chan. They asked to see what they hadn't picked out for her and offered to try it on. She was puzzled. The girl shouted that she didn't want to, wouldn't, asked what they were doing and called for the master. The girls told her to stand still and that she would definitely like it. They put her in a dress. Lyatha said how cute it was. Kuina said she is just like a doll. She was changing outfits. The girls said she was cute in this one too and knocked them dead, and the dragon costume made them speechless in general. Lyatha said how cute she was. Kuina offered to try on something else. The girl asked for someone to save her. She went up to the master in her dress and told him that Kuina and Lyatha were so mean. The Lord asked if the first choice had turned out to be the lesser of evils. She said they had been mocking her all the time by dressing her up in different clothes. He said that they did not mean to mock her at all and asked her to forgive them. He said that Hirai-chan was so cute that they couldn't help themselves. The girl interjected. Jinta said she was like a princess of the dragon country. Hiai-chan rejoiced. She jumped on top of him. Jinta said he wanted those clothes. The salesman said that it would be 14,800 yen. They walked down the street. Hiro said he was tickled by the same. He said that what was left was to report to the guild and the task would be done. Lyatha said that it was easy and simple. Kuina asked why she was so excited. They walked down the street. Hee-chan marveled. She said there are so many things here that she hasn't seen before. The hero said she was watching. She was having a lot of fun. She said she wanted to walk around the city at least once. The girl said that she always waited for them at home, that how happy she was to be near her master. Kuina said that it was lonely for her. Lyatha replied that indeed they had not thought of her feelings at all. Suddenly, the girl's stomach rumbled. She said that she was so very hungry, she had never had that before, and here it was again. Jinta said he was hungry too and suggested that they eat first. He asked Hilai-chan what she wanted to eat. The latter asked again. He said they would buy whatever she wanted to eat. The girl came up with an idea. He asked. He-chan said she wanted to eat the goblin. Everyone was puzzled. The hero asked her to choose something else. She replied that he had said he would buy whatever she wanted. He apologized. The heroes were at the hotel. Jinta apologized and said that again only one room was available. Lytha said she thought it wasn't such a problem. Hiai-chan said there were only 3 beds. Kuina said that would definitely be a problem. She said she had a great idea. She said she would sleep together with Jinta-san. Lytha said she knew she would say that. She said there would be no problem if she slept with Hiai-chan. The elf girl replied that it's not fair. She said she wanted to sleep with Hiai-chan too. Lytha replied that the girl is only hers. Kuina asked who decided that. She said of course Hiai-chan would want to sleep with her. Diochika said that it feels so good with the master. Lytha yelled that it was different and for Kuina to let go of the girl's hand. She called out to Hiai-chan saying she has pineapples here. Kuina said it wasn't fair to buy with food. Hiai-chan shouted to them that that was enough. The girls fell silent. She said she had a good idea. They all lay down with Jinta, and the girl said that here is the solution. The hero yelled that he wouldn't be able to sleep like that. At the guild, Anna thanked Kazami. She said she didn't expect him to destroy a whole nest of goblins and they wouldn't bother them again. He replied that that was how it was and he was glad to try. She said that he had really helped them a lot. The girls looked at her with disdain. Lytha thought that it turns out that Jinta likes to be talked to like that and she is blatantly flirting. The hero said they had gotten the reward and asked what was next. He suggested that they go out to eat. He was approached by Lytha. She playfully said she wanted to go with them to the item store. He asked Anna if there were any recommendations for the next task. Lytha shouted at him not to ignore her. The worker asked what about this request. He asked about finding a person, after which he was shocked at the reward of 1 million. Anna said that the reward was originally less, but he hasn't been found for half a year, so the reward has increased. Quina said that they must want to find him very badly. Anna said it looks like it. She said that Mr. Line was financially supported by this company, and it seems he was researching some kind of drug. She said then he took and disappeared with the research materials. Jinta said he just picked up and ran away. Lytha suggested that he take on this quest. He agreed, but said it would be difficult to find someone who disappeared 6 months ago. Quina said that something else smells fishy around here. She was asked what it was about. She said that he just disappeared and the results of his research, didn't he? Lytha said they couldn't miss this quest. Everyone looked at her. Jinta agreed and said that it was still wrong to take and run away and offered to take on this quest. Lytha said that as he said. He asked if this was a picture of Mr. Line and said he looked like a regular uncle. He asked Anna if there was any more information. Anna apologized and said she didn't, and that was all she had. The hero said that just as he thought it would be a waste of time. Hiai-chan looked at the picture. She said that she knew him and that the man lived near the master's house. Jinta asked if that was true. She answered in the affirmative. They went in the carriage. Quina asked if it was definitely the man in the picture. The girl replied that there was no doubt. She said that he used to come to the forest all the time and give her pineapples. She said that a few days before the master came to the forest, this man had left there. Jinta thought about the fact that in a few days. He said that as Mr. Line had lived there for 6 months, and a few days ago he left again. At this time, Lytha lay on his lap and thought about not throwing up. Jinta asked Hirai-chan if she knew where he could go. The latter replied that she didn't. He then suggested that they look around his house and said that maybe they'd find some leads. Quina said that since he had only left a few days ago, there might have been traces left there. They ended up at the house. Quina said admiringly that it was their house with Mr. Gina. Lytha angrily said that she lived there too. Hiai-chan asked to herself. The hero patted her head and said that of course it was her house too, their house. Lyatha asked the girl how long she had lived in this forest. The one replied that she did not even remember. The goddess asked where her mom and dad were. He-chan wondered. Lyatha asked if she wanted to sleep. She apologized and said she could sleep. Looking at the girl, she realized that she had already fallen asleep and thought how cute she was. There was a closet of books in the house. Quina turned to Jinta. He said that they were Line's notes, or rather a diary. The girl asked if there was anything in there that could give a clue. He answered in the affirmative. He turned to Quina. The hero suggested that she destroy this quest. Quina asked if he was locked up. Jinta said that means Mr. Ryan was just locked up by the company in the research lab, and he was forcibly forced to do research on this drug. He said that according to the diary, the drug that was ordered to be developed was a powerful anesthetic, effective even against monsters to try out the drug. He said that the company had prepared test monsters and captured a female fire dragon on Mount Nara, and captured her egg along with her. The hero said that it was Hi-chan and her mom. Kuina asked if that meant that Hi-chan was a test subject. Jinta replied that at that time, Hi-chan was still inside the egg, so they couldn't do experiments on her, but her mother was indeed used as a test subject. He said that it says here that during the research she was drugged with a huge amount of drugs. It was horrible. So Mr. Rain, who was strongly against this company, did something. The character said that he stole the finished drug with an egg and then escaped from the lab. The Elfess asked if it was true that he ended up secretly living here and taking care of Hi-chan. Jinta answered in the affirmative. He had more to tell. He said that Mr. Rain had learned that he had been announced for a search and, fearing that he would be discovered, had left this house. He and Hi-chan had gone into the forest. The hero said that this was the last entry in his diary. He wrote it about 2 weeks ago. He said that completing this quest is tantamount to them putting Mr. Rain in the hands of this company. Jinta said that to give away the good man who helped Hi-chan escape, he couldn't do that. Kuina asked if he wanted to give up the quest. He replied that he was sorry and that he couldn't, but the girl objected. She said she felt the same way he did. The hero turned to her as they suddenly heard a strange sound. The girl asked what it was just now. Jinta replied that it was on the first floor. She asked if it was really the people of that company and if they wanted to steal Hi-chan. The hero said that he wouldn't let them. They saw Hi-chan and Waifu. Jinta shouted to them. The goddess was sitting on top of Hi-chan in the form of a dragon. Everyone was puzzled. Lyatha said that she would explain it to them now. She said that she was just sitting in the girl's arms, and then, after a moment, she was already on her back. She said she didn't think they understood her. The hero disagreed and said that they understood. The effects of the drug had worn off, and she had become a dragon again. He said to open the inventory. Outside, he took the dragon out of it. Jinta said that it seems he really can put anything into his subspace. Quina said that was good, and that they didn't have to break down walls to get her out. Lyatha read the diary and said it was clear, and she was so overwhelmed by the reward that she had completely forgotten, and it was all Daddy's company. She said they definitely had a bad reputation, and it seems they were in the business of selling weapons and slaves. The girl said that she agreed that they should give up the quest. She asked what about Hi-chan's mom. Lyatha said that in Mr. Rain's diary, it says that she was put on a ship by a mountain on the river. She said that if that's true, she wants to help, wants Hi-chan to meet her mom again. She wanted to ask Jinta for something, but was surprised that the whole team was already standing far away. The hero shouted to her asking what she was doing there and called out for her to go already. She asked where they were going. He replied that to Mountain Air. Where else? Jinta said they were going to rescue Hi-chan's mom. He asked if she wanted to stay here. Lyatha replied that she was already going. Lyatha asked Jinta if he was sure. He held her in his arms. She asked him to be gentle and not to be rough. He turned to her. The hero thought about the fact that it was only a matter of time before Hi-chan gave them a ride to Mountain Air. He told her to hurry up already, and she flew into the inventory with a shout. Since he couldn't fit 3 adults in there, he decided to keep Waifu in there. The girl yelled that she had asked for gentler, and he was a fool. She disappeared from sight. Jinta said that was it. He mentally apologized to her, but Hi-chan couldn't fit 3. Kuina said she even felt sorry for her somehow. The girl said it couldn't be helped because she had lost at rock, paper, scissors. The hero suggested to keep moving as soon as possible so as not to keep Lyatha waiting. The elfess replied that it was a forced sacrifice. Suddenly, Jinta was very surprised. He saw that the number of pangos in her inventory was decreasing and thought that she was eating them. He shouted that stop eating the rations he had left for an emergency. Out of 10 pangos, only 7 were left. He said that at this rate they would run out and we should hurry. Quina replied that she understood him. They set off on their journey. The hero said that they had traveled quite a distance and asked if they had traveled farther and if Quina knew the area. She answered in the negative, and that the direction was sort of right, but that she didn't know the details. He said he thought taking out Laifu was a bad idea. Quina asked him if it was the same mountain. He answered in the affirmative, and that it was the same one. They made it. Jinta said that it was getting dark and they would spend the night here and continue climbing at dawn, and Hei-chan should rest as well. The elfess replied that she thought he was right. The hero hoped that Lyatha hadn't eaten all the pango and opened the inventory. He stuck his hand in and said that it was probably her. He started to deliver her on one, too. The girl yelled to him to wait and that there was no need to procrastinate. He pulled out his skirt. Looking at the ground, he saw the goddess. She said she was in pain. She was lying on the ground without her skirt. Jinta was embarrassed and apologized. Quina said he didn't have to insist on it so much, and if he wanted it so badly, he could take it off. He embarrassedly said he hadn't thought of that. He told Lifa that he didn't realize it was her skirt. She yelled what he was doing, and for him to return it quickly. The team built a fire. The goddess said they had come this far and asked if they would find Hei-chan's mom on this mountain. Jinta replied that he thought they would. He said that you can tell just by looking at Hei-chan. She keeps looking in the direction of the mountain. He said that she is not even distracted by them. Kuina replied that maybe she can feel her mother's aura. They asked her to wait a little longer and said that they would definitely help them meet. The man asked if they had still found Ryan Friedman. The kneeling man answered in the affirmative and asked for his forgiveness. Acello, All Daddy's supervisor, said that he had no other choice anyway and would soon surrender. He said that even the prototypes that remained in the lab were stolen by the goblins during transportation. He said that they would make a lot of money if they could sell them along with their subordinate monsters. However, they should do something about the fire dragon as soon as possible. Acello said that even though the experiment had somewhat weakened the dragon, it was still a very valuable product, and he trusted Meldes, the black-clothed man, with the rest. Jinta's team was climbing up the mountain. The hero said that the mountain was quite steep, and it felt like he was mountain climbing. Lyatha said he couldn't feel his legs. Queen had told the gentleman to be careful and that there is a steep cliff further up. She said it was just like Lyatha's breasts. The girl was indignant and shouted asking who had such breasts. She said that although they weren't big, she had them. The elven girl replied that there was no need to lie. The hero noticed something. He said that it looks like Hei-chan's mother is behind bars over there. He asked if they really made it. Kuina said that it was strange that she didn't see any guards here. The heroes stood in front of the grate and watched. They saw that she was here, Hei-chan's mother. Hei-chan asked who he was. Jinta answered her that it was her mom. Hei-chan turned to her. The mother roared. Lifa asked what it was. The elfess said that something was wrong here. The hero hesitated for a moment. He looked at her features. He saw that her HP was greatly reduced and thought she was weak. The dragoness looked angry. Jinta shouted to everyone to quickly move back. The girls were puzzled. Hei-chan's mother stood up and roared loudly. Everyone was startled. She was preparing to attack. The dragon girl was puzzled and asked what it was. The hero said that it was unexpected. He pointed his sword forward. The dragon used fire breath against which Jinta attacked. The girls stared in surprise. Quina covered her face. The hero used dark filament against the dragon's attack. Hei-chan watched. Jinta was difficult. A huge pillar of light formed. He said it was dangerous, but he still managed to stop her breathing. The girls ran towards him, shouting his name. The hero didn't realize what had just happened, looking at her condition. He said that Hidai-chan's mom went crazy because of the medication, and he's sure she doesn't even realize what she's doing now. Kuina said that if that's any effect, Liafa's cleansing magic would probably fix it. Toth replied that it definitely would. Suddenly, Ocello and his men appeared and shouted, asking what they were doing here. Jinta said where did they come from and thought they were a bit sensational. One of the guys called the crew bastards and asked who they were and what they were doing here. Quina replied. She said, hugging Jinta, that they were just a couple of justice fighters who wanted to free that fire dragon. Liatha shouted angrily that they found time to fool around. Ocello said what a coincidence, and maybe they were just traders who had come to steal a fire dragon. He was approached by a guy with a sword. He said while pointing at Jinta that this guy, that look, it's definitely Jinta from Gacha Storm. Ocello interjected. The guy replied that he was a dangerous magic swordsman. He said that their friends who were in Hohin had almost died at his hands. Another guy said that in addition, he now has a dragon behind him. Another said there was an elf woman with big breasts standing next to him. Another said there was also a flat-chested one with them. Ocello yelled for them to calm down already. He told them to open the gate with the dragon faster. They wanted to object. He said not to be afraid and that they had a monster lord, Mrs. Meldes herself. Jinta was surprised. Liatha asked if she was going to tame Hidai-chan's mom. The dragoness was released from the cage. She looked at the heroes. Jinta said she was out. Quina said this is what adults are like. The hero looked at Ocello and the boys and said that they are afraid of her themselves, aren't they? Ocello turned to Meldes. He said that now was the time to subdue her and let God's punishment come upon them. The girl began to conjure. The dragoness breathed fire on her. Mistress Meldes was shouted at. They shouted that she was burning and asked for faster water. Jinta looked suspiciously at what was happening. Rocks sprinkled from the mountain. The girl in black rolled down the mountain and landed right in front of the hero. He looked at her. He asked if she was all right. They silently looked at each other. Meldes ran quickly away from him. He asked if she had run away. Ocello stood in shock while the dragon was behind him. He shouted to Mrs. Meldes, asking her to wait. They ran away screaming to the girl. Quina asked what that was about. The hero chuckled. He said who knows. Suddenly, the ground split in two. On one, Hidai-chan managed to pull Quina away, and on the other, Jinta Laifu. He told her to stay out of the way. The hero said that he would like to return Hidai-chan's mom back to normal, and asked Liafa how far her purification abilities could work. She replied that she thought somewhere around 3-4 meters. Not very far, he thought. He thought about the fact that at that distance, a dragon could attack with both its tail and claws. That's not to mention its fire breath. And if Liatha became a target, she wouldn't survive. He turned to Hidai-chan. Jinta said that it's dangerous here, so he asked to take Liafa and Quina away from here. Dragon interjected. He said that Quina would take care of Liafa. The Alphas asked what he had in mind. The hero replied that he would start by calming down Hidai-chan's mom. The girls on the dragon's back were being carried away from Jinta. The goddess looked back and said her name. He was fighting the dragon mom at this time. He drew his sword but missed. The dragon took off. He said that unlike Hidai-chan, the adult fire dragon could fly, how smart she was, and that he didn't think his attack would reach her. Looking up, he was surprised. Jinta saw that she was preparing for a powerful attack and was surprised that she would attack from there. He looked at Hidai-chan and the girls. The hero realized that she was aiming there. The dragon attack was approaching the team. Jinta shouted to Hidai-chan. The girls looked back. They looked frightened. Hidai-chan spread her wings and pushed herself off the ground. She managed to rise up, dodging the attack. Jinta looked at this in shock. He shouted as she took off. Jinta asked when she learned that way. Looking at the flying Hidai-chan, he said that it looked like she was leveling up by killing goblins and all sorts of evil things. She landed. Liatha said that was cool, and now she could fly. Kuina said she thought they had moved far enough away and asked Hidai-chan to help Jinta soon. She quickly flew to him. The hero noticed the dragon approaching and rejoiced. He rode her and told her that his strength would not be enough here, then asked if she would help him. He said that together they would save her mom. At this time, the mama dragon got into a human pose. Jinta said in surprise that the flame just disappeared. The dragoness was preparing for another attack. It made them back up a bit. The hero said that did the blessing skill was also available in the adult. He looked to the side. The dragon attacked towards the girls again. He said damn again. Quina told Goddess to get behind her. She said the distance was not enough to avoid being hit. She said not to underestimate her. The elven woman created a wall of wind. They defended themselves from the attack. Quina asked if Jinta was fighting her now. She said that she was able to weaken the blow, but there were traces of smoke on her clothes. Lyatha turned to her. The hero shouted to the girls asking if they were okay. Quina shouted back to him. She said that he might not worry and that he should help Hai-Chan as soon as possible. At this time, Lyatha was treating her. The hero turned around. In the sky with Hai-Chan, they were dodging her mom's attacks. He said that the black flame wasn't strong enough, and attacking a dragon with fire wasn't very effective. He said that to strike with a sword, they needed to get closer, and if they could do that. Hai-Chan looked at him. He asked her if he could rely on her. Quina said that Hai-Chan seemed to be gradually slowing down. Lyatha replied that she probably wasn't used to flying for a long time yet. The girl said that she didn't know if she could continue to dodge her mother's attacks from now on. Jinta told Hai-Chan that it was okay and asked her to hang on. She lowered herself a bit. They saw the dragoness attacking again. The hero told Hai-Chan that it was about to. Quina was surprised that they were acting up. Lyatha said he was going to get close to her before she shot her breath at him. The girls thought it was useless and they wouldn't make it in time. Hai-Chan's mom let out a powerful dragon breath. Hai-Chan and the smoke started to fall. The girls shouted to them. The dragoness peered out. Lyatha and Quina noticed that he wasn't there. Hai-Chan looked up. Jinta jumped right above her mom's head. The Ta turned around and noticed him. He said it would hurt a little. He told her to grit her teeth and kicked her in the head. He asked her to be quiet and told her it would be over soon. She was perplexed. After the critical blow, she quickly flew downward, breaking the ground. Hai-Chan's mom lay not on the ground and growled. Quina happily said it worked. Lyatha wanted to say something about Hai-Chan. At that time, the latter flew up to catch Jinta. The girls saw that everything seemed to be alright. Hai-Chan lay on the ground and exhaled. Lifa said that she did well. The elven girl said that since she's also a fire dragon, the flames can't hurt her. The hero said that on the contrary, fire breath helped them a lot. By hiding behind the flames, they managed to get into the blind spot. Quina said that it was a great plan. The hero thanked Hai and said it was all thanks to her. Lyatha raised her cane. She said that now it was her turn, and now she would use purification and healing magic. Suddenly the stones stirred. The goddess asked fearfully what it was. Quina pointed her finger and told her to look. Lyatha asked if it was a landslide. The elfess said if it had appeared because of their battle. The goddess yelled to run away quickly. Quina asked where to run to. Lyatha said that one could hide in the item box. Jinta replied that you can't. He said that then they won't be able to get out of there. The girl tearfully asked then what should they do. The hero said not to be afraid and that he would repel the landslide with his black flame. The elven girl asked if such a thing was even possible. He answered in the affirmative, but said that he advised them to move farther away just in case. He began to conjure. His sword was enveloped in dark smoke. He thought that he needed to pour in more mana, all the mana, and if he slacked off, the situation would become quite dire. Jinta thought more, even more. Someone told him to destroy. The hero didn't realize what that voice was. He was told to become the one who controlled destruction. Jinta shouted to shut up. He asked who he was. He said he had no use for him right now and asked him to back off. The voice said to destroy everything. The hero stepped forward. He swung his sword and shouted that he told him to be quiet. He used black flames. His power drew the rocks behind him. He shouted that it carried. A great rift was formed, and at its end, in the mountain, there was a huge explosion. The heroes looked at it. Before them was a pillar of light. The heroes continued to watch. Lyatha turned to Jinta. He asked him to wait. He said he only wanted to push back the landslide, and he had no intention of destroying the mountain. Kuina said it seemed the landscape had changed slightly. Hiei rejoiced. Jinta asked how Hiei-chan's mom was doing. Lyatha said that it seems that she alone is not enough to restore her powers. She ran out of mana. The hero replied that it's all because Hiei-chan's matter has over 200,000 XP. He said that all the negative effects in status had disappeared, so she should recover soon. Lyatha said that was understandable, and then there was nothing to worry about. Kuina and Hiei-chan cheered. The dragoness roared. He stood up. Jinta said as she woke up. Hiei-chan turned to her. The one looked. Hero and Lyatha watched while they communicated in their language. The goddess said that they seemed to be doing fine. Kazami said that yes, she understands her child perfectly. The girl turned to him. She asked if it would be better for everyone. He replied in the affirmative, and that this is what they came here for, after all. She cried. He told her not to cry. The dragons went up into the sky. They took on human form. The mother said that she had learned everything that had happened here, learned about her daughter. Jinta marveled at the skill of reincarnation. She thanked for taking care of her child. She apologized for her bad behavior recently and asked how she could thank them. The hero said she had big ones and asked her to raise her head. Lyatha thought how nasty he was. Kuina thought it was impressive. Hiei-chan's mother asked again. The hero replied not to worry about it. She said that he fought beautifully side by side with the dragon of the fire tribe, which is not something every person can do, and she was very happy that such a wonderful adventurer took care of her daughter. Jinta replied that saying that he was the only one who took care of her was a bit wrong, and she had helped them many times too. He said that she was a very good girl. He said that, as they say, the rest is up to them. Lyatha said that at the end of the day, children are better off with their parents. Hiei-chan looked at them in surprise. She turned to the master. The hero said that they had promised that to her in the beginning, hadn't they? He said that they had promised to find her parents and return her to them. The girl remembered how he said they would find her parents, how Lyatha said she was glad to meet them. The hero turned to Hiei-chan. He said that this seemed to be where their paths diverged. She cried. Lyatha screamed to the sky, thanking Hiei-chan for letting her fly on her, and that she hoped she and her mom would be okay. Kuina shouted that she helped them a lot during the battles, and she wishes them the best. Jinta told her to become a great dragon like her mother. On her mother's back, the girl answered by crying. The hero looked at her. They said goodbye to Hiei-chan. Jinta said he never caught anything. It had been a week. They were at the lake house in a bit of a stupor. Kuina called out to Jinta and said that she had heard that dinner was ready. He was surprised that it was all ready. With plates in hand, Lyatha said that this was it. Kuina and the hero marveled at the table. Kazami said that this is how it is. She looks like a junk dealer, but she is surprisingly skillful at housework, and asked if that was the case. Lyatha asked in bewilderment what a junk dealer meant. She said that if they didn't go shopping soon, they would run out of game. The hero interjected. He said it was a half-day's walk to town for shopping. Kuina said that if it was Hiei-chan, she would fly down. Lyatha dropped her fork. She asked again about Hiei-chan. The elfess turned to her. Lyatha began to cry. She screamed the dragon's name. Jinta asked if she missed her that much. He said he thought she had calmed down in the last few days. He thought about the fact that he understood her after all. He knew that Lyatha really liked Hiei-chan, and she wouldn't get used to it so quickly. He was sure that Kuina felt the same way, and he himself felt the same way. He went to bed. The hero said that since they were going into town tomorrow, they should get a good night's sleep. He was surprised that the duvet cover was a little warm. He thought that maybe Lyatha or Kuina had left a hot water bottle. From under the blanket, he pulled Hiei out and said that so it was her. He said okay then. The hero covered himself with a blanket with her and said Hiei-chan is warm. They fell asleep in silence. Suddenly, a realization came to Jinta, and he shouted her name. She responded happily. He asked why she was here. The girl replied that after all, they had told her themselves that here was her home too. She said that was why she had come back. The hero agreed but said that she had found her mother. Jinta said that he, Lyatha, and Kuina couldn't be her parents. Hiai-chan replied that they are friends after all. She said that they eat together, go to bed together, and they fought together too. However, she is a dragon. The girl asked if she could stay with them. The hero smiled. He thought yes. Jinta replied that yes, of course, and the girl hugged him. Suddenly, the girls saw Hiai too. The girl looked at them joyfully. Kuina was very excited. She was told that she was welcome home. Lyatha tearfully went to Hiai-chan for a hug. Jinta thought about her being one of them. The girl said she was home. She told what her mom had told her. She said that if Hiai-chan wanted to live with people, she would have to learn a lot. Lyatha was glad that Hiai-chan was back and roared. Jinta told her to stop crying already. The girl said that's why she practiced hard to get back to them. Kuina said that she had done a good job. Hiai said that her mom praised Jinta so much, and she also said that he loves her. She said that her mom said that eventually they would mate and then lay eggs. Everyone was shocked. The hero interjected. Kuina told Hinai-chan that she was very brave. The girl giggled. Lyatha said it was a horror. Kazami asked what they were even talking about. Everyone looked forward in surprise. Kuina asked if this was the entrance to the dungeon. Jinta said that they had gotten there faster than they thought. Lyatha asked why exactly they should be looking for goods for this shop. The hero replied that they had no choice. Everything happened the day after Hiai-chan returned. They received advice from the employee of the gambling shop where they had come to shop. Anna said that she had a suggestion for Jinta to collect rare artifacts. He would get a reward for them. She said that they now have a reduced catalog of rewards, suspended the flow of visitors, so it is difficult to run a business in such conditions. The hero replied that yes, things are quite bad here. He asked if it was because they had knocked everything out. Anna replied that no. She said that recently there had been a huge explosion in their supplier's warehouse that had destroyed the goods. He tensely asked about the explosion. Kuina said it was sad and asked how it happened. Anna replied that the causes were unknown but could be believed by eyewitnesses. The girl said that according to them, a huge blob of flame coming from the direction of MT. Nair hit right on the warehouse. The heroes became nervous, remembering that explosion. Anna said that thank God no one was inside the warehouse, but all their goods were burned. She said that they don't have the ability to hire high-ranking professionals at the moment, so they can only hire them, but they are confident that the team will defeat Hippo. Jinta replied to rely on them. Anna rejoiced. The hero told Lyatha that it was his fault. He said, by the way, whether there was anything at all left in this dungeon, and even so close to the city, and that he thought the place had already been searched. Lyatha told him that more optimism. She said that they say that this is the deepest floor, the 7th floor, but in fact there are 10 floors, meaning that no one has ever gone below the 7th floor. You just have to find a secret descent. Hiai asked how she knew that there were 1 floors here. No one had ever gone below the 7th floor after all. The one replied that it was because she was a goddess. The girl asked what she was even talking about. The girl asked to believe her and said that there was definitely something there. Kuina shouted to her to be careful in front. Lyatha stepped into the hole in the floor. She started to fall down, but someone grabbed her. Jinta managed to hold her down and told her to be careful. He asked if she was all right. She answered in the affirmative. The hero said that in the dungeon one must be on guard. The girl replied that she was fine, apologizing. They went further and Lyatha became embarrassed. Hiai said that she envied her. She asked if she fell into the pit like that, would her master save her too? Kuina replied that she could fly after all. Jinta noticed the sign. He said that here they are on the 7th. Hiai asked if it was a dead end. The hero said that even the monsters didn't show up. There was no treasure either. Lyatha said that there should be a descent here and they should look more carefully. Kuina called them to look here. The hero asked what was there. The elfess said there was an inscription. She said, isn't this the ancient writing of the spirits? Lyatha replied that it looked like that and asked what could be written here. Jinta asked if she could not read it and asked her to let him look at it. He was very surprised to realize that it was. He looked thoughtful. Kuina asked if something had happened. The hero replied that no. He said it seemed to be here and pressed the rock. The door opened. Everyone was surprised. The girls shouted to Jinta. Lyatha asked how he was understood. The one replied that it was simple, it says it all. Quina asked if he could read it. Lyatha asked how he knew this writing. He thought to himself that of course he could read it, because the tablet has Japanese characters. It said that a guard lives below, and if anyone could read it, let him press the four-cornered stone, and at the end was a wish for good luck. Jinta said that here they should go all the way to the end until they hit a rock, further down the stairs. He said that here they were, the last floor. They wondered how many unopened chests. The hero said it looked like it would make a great report, except that he had a strange feeling of the presence of something. Hiei said that there was definitely someone here. Kuina said that it might be the same guards that were mentioned in that apocryphal inscription. Jinta said the treasure guardian, which turns out to be the boss's lair here, and asked if that was true. Lyatha said that there could not be such a thing, certainly not. She said what other boss is in the newbie dungeon near the city, and in fact, she would kick his ass with her new killing technique. Kazami interjected about the killing technique and said that she was talking nonsense again. He saw in her characterization that the real thing added was something, goddess kick. He wondered what else it was and what that description was. The girl said that she had been obsessed with boxing in her time, a skill, as they say. You can't really buy it. Jinta asked why the hell she wanted to box. She said she had to, so she had to, and why did he bother? The hero asked if she was able to achieve the expected result. The girl replied that she had not. Quina and Hiei laughed from behind. Lyatha used the goddess kick on Jinta. He told her to tie it up. The hero suggested taking the treasure and going back before those guards or whatever their name was noticed them. Quina said it was too late. Hiei told the lord behind her. The hero gave a surprised look. Behind him and Lyatha was a huge guard, as if made of stones, aiming his fist. He said they were trespassers and must be destroyed. He made a mighty blow. Quina and Hiei were frightened. The guard was rising from his knees. Jinta appeared from behind the rubble. He told Lyatha to look. He said it was the boss, and for her to use her goddess kick. The frightened girl said he must be joking and asked if he was. The one replied that he was joking. The girl told him to be careful. She said that it was most likely one of the spiritual craft techniques of bygone eras. Lyatha said it was an immortal giant golem. Jinta said it can regenerate, so it's also interesting. The hero said he'll take him down. Jinta and Hiei in the form of a dragon attacked a guard. Quina asked Lyatha if everyone was unharmed. The latter replied that yes, it seemed so. Hiei flew backwards onto the rocks. The girls were scared for her. She became human again. The girl was holding her head and crying. Lyatha turned to her. Quina said that it seems they have a difficult opponent. Hiei said it was too crowded to fight here. Lyatha asked if she bumped her head herself or what. The Elfess said that Jinta is clearly outmatched. The goddess said about that regeneration. Quina said that if it continues like this, they might have a problem. The hero asked the guard if he was a stubborn guy and said what if he was. Lyatha asked him if he had any plan. Jinta struck the ground with his sword, the next attack on the guard himself. He shouted, quickly landing multiple blows from all sides. Hiei said that she understood and should just chop faster than he recovers. The Elfess told the hero that it was a flawless strategy. The goddess said stubborn ram this strategy is called. Jinta aimed for the next strike and said he spit on it. Upon striking, he said he spat on his regeneration. Something fell off of the guard. The hero told the guard that if he didn't regenerate now, he would fall apart into small pieces. But he stood still and repeated the words of destruction. Jinta picked up the pebble and asked what else it was. He said it didn't look like a crystal. He said the golem seemed to be everything, and maybe this magic pebble was its power source. Quina interjected about the magic stone. Kazami said, well, yeah. The girl said, how could it be? She asked how a spirit craft technology could be here, and even capable of moving. Jinta asked what kind of spiritual craft, and said that it was also mentioned by Lyatha. The goddess said that, as the name implies, they are tools and devices created by spirits. Quina asked the hero if he was unfamiliar with the legends of previous eras. He replied that he was absolutely not. She said it was a legend of a hero and an evil deity, and in her village it was known to every child. Jinta climbed onto the golem. Lyatha asked what he was doing. The one said he had an idea. He put this stone into the golem and told it to wake up. The one opened its eyes. The goddess asked if he was sure and told him that he had begun to regenerate again. The hero replied that it was under control. He said they would try a test and thought about how to do it. He told the golem that here were his first orders. He said to lift Quina up high, high, high. The Ta asked back fearfully. The guard looked at the girl. He took her in his arms and started to lift her. She was puzzled. She screamed loudly. Lyatha asked Jinta why the golem obeyed him. The latter replied that he had rewritten something. He said that he had rewritten the text on the slab. He crossed out the text about destroying trespassers and wrote that one must obey Kazami Jinta unconditionally.